First on the floor, a former Cavalier, Johnny Newman, 6'7", out of Richmond in his third year. Second with the Knicks, 17.5 points a game, and he had 16 in the first meeting. Charles Oakley, Clevelander from Virginia Union, 6'9", traded over from the Bulls, 12 points and 11 rebounds a game, had 17 points and 15 rebounds in the first meeting. The guard will be Mark Jackson, 6'3", second year from St. John's, 17 points and 8 assists a game, had 20 points, 16 assists and 5 steals in the first meeting. Gerald Wilkins will be the other guard at 6'6", out of UT Chattanooga in his fourth year. Dominique's brother, 15 points a game against the league, 17 against the Cavs. Patrick Ewing rounds it out, the big man from Georgetown, the 7-footer in his fourth year for the Knicks. 22 points, 9 rebounds, and 3 1/2 block shots a game. He had 31 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 blocks against the Cavs. For Cleveland, the same starting story. Mark Price will start at one guard at 6'1", averaging 17.7 a game with 9 assists, 16.7 assists, 3 steals in the first meeting, and his running mate will be Ron Harper. Harper at 6'6", 20 points a game with 2 1/2 steals. He had only 4 in the first meeting in New York. The center will be Brad Doherty, 19 points and 9 rebounds a game against the league, 36 points and 6 boards in the first contest. The forwards, the Phoenix connection, Larry Nance at 6'10", 18 points, 7 1/2 rebounds, and 2 1/2 block shots per ball game. At 28.7 boards and 4 blocks in the first meeting. Rounding it out, Mike Sanders at 6'6", 9.5 points per ball game against the league, 10 points and 5 assists in the first meeting. Now let me gaze through this book and see if I can figure out who that third official is. Earl Strom is the lead official, and Bernie Fryer is the number 2 man. And let's see the other fellow, one of the new guys, and you have to take a little time to focus in on who they are. Woody Mayfield will be the number 3 ref here today. Woody Mayfield. He has worked 10 years in the Big 8, 7 years in the Southwest Conference. He comes out of Norman, Oklahoma. So we're all ready for basketball. The Cavaliers and the New York Knicks meeting for the second time this season. Something tells me it will not be the last. Certainly the regular season still has a couple of stops to go, but these two teams may sooner or later collide in the playoffs, and if they do, it should be something to behold. All set. The opening tap, Ewing against Nance. It belongs to the Knicks. Oakley hands to Jackson, and the Knicks going from right to left on your radio dial. Gerald Wilkins out front to Oakley, off left of the lane to Ewing, turns inside. Nance blocked his shot. Outside to Price. Price drives the lane, puts it up rim. No, Harper follows. Good. Cavaliers get the first basket of the ball game. Jackson brings the ball into the forecourt for the Knicks. They're in their traveling blue with the orange numbers and letters, the white trim of the Cavs just the opposite of the home white, as Gerald Wilkins bangs one no good from the top of the key. The ball bounces on the floor, and Ron Harper retrieves it and heads the other way. Into the forecourt, Harper on the right wing. Knicks, a notorious three-point shooting ball club, and they're good at it. Harper outside the three-point arc. Jackson steals the ball, knocks it away to Ewing, back to Jackson. Jackson into the forecourt, drives down the lane, puts it up and in. Mark Jackson takes it to the other end, and the ball game is tied at 2. And again, the trapping pressure defense by the Knicks. Price down the left side to Nance, heads under the basket, flips it up at the rim, no good. Rebound comes free, a whistle, and a loose ball foul by Larry Nance. Nance with the first foul of the ball game. Oakley will inbound for New York and does so to Jackson. Jackson brings it into the forecourt of the right side to Gerald Wilkins. Wilkins against Harper, out front to Oakley. Oakley top of the key on the right wing to Wilkins, into the circle, at the line the 15-footer, in and out, rebound Doherty. Doherty out to Price. Price over the timeline, down the left side to Harper. Harper deals in the corner to Sanders. Ball lobbed inside to Harper. Back out to Doherty at the line. Right side Nance out on the wing to Price from 16. Shot no good. Rebound Harper back up, rolls it across the rim, and it comes off to Johnny Newman. Outside to Jackson. 2-2 tie in the first period. Right side, Oakley from outside unloads and misses. Rebound to Mark Price. Price takes it the other way through the center circle, off of the left side to Nance. Nance bangs off Oakley, goes to the basket, missed the shot. Rebound Sanders, one bounce back up, ball knocked away and out to Jackson. Jackson heads into the forecourt, deals it off to Newman. He drives, lays it up and in. Johnny Newman gets his first two, and the Knicks go up 4-2. 9:47 to play in the first period. Price brings the ball to the timeline, back over to Harper into the forecourt. Harper left wing, double team, fires down to Doherty. Doherty gets right around Ewing and slams it home, and he's fouled. Doherty gets two to tie. The foul will be on Oakley, who came over to cover after Doherty had faked Ewing right out of his shoes. Game tied at 4 with 9:34 to play in the first period. On the free throw line, Doherty, a 78% shooter, unloads it on the rim and it falls off to Ewing. 4-4 tie, 9:32 to play in the period. Lob from the backcourt Jackson to the forecourt Ewing. Gives to Oakley, and Oakley walks with the ball. Oh, there's a delay of game warning, I think. Should be anyway, may not be. No, I guess they will not assess of a delay of game warning. Oakley just dropped the ball on the floor and walked away. Normally that will be a delay of game. But then again, Earl's working this one today, so nothing promises to be normal. Down the right sideline, Price to Doherty, cross court to Harper on the left wing, sets for the three, off the rim, no, rebound Nance. Nance left side of the forecourt. Nance runs it into the middle, puts it up as he goes, good! Nance with his first two at the other end, the feed to Wilkins, and he slams it home. Ball game tied at 6 on the left side. Harper, he runs into the lane, goes right wing, Nance shoots, good again! Nance with 4, and the Cavs are up 8-6, and the Knicks quickly to the other end. The basketball, Jackson left side, Newman drives inside, goes over Doherty, and Nance blocks his shot out of bounds. Second block for Larry Nance. 8:41 to play in the first period. On the baseline to the left of the basket, Jackson, the bounce inside to Newman, who fumbled the ball, then Harper gets it, Newman knocks him off, and they call him for walking. Well, the Cavs get the ball back. Sanders fires to the forecourt. Harper goes into the lane. He is fouled. He missed the shot, but he'll go to the line. Very foolish foul by Gerald Wilkins, the reach around. That is his first foul. Second on the Knicks as a team, and Harper goes to the free throw line. Ron with a basket for 2, looks for a pair of free throws. Harper, a 76% shooter. Cavs up 8-6, 8:35 to play in the period, and the first one is up and in. 3 points for Harper, and the Cavaliers are up 9-6 with 8:35 to go. Harper ready again. It goes up and in. 4 points for Ron, and the Cavaliers have a 10-6 lead. Pressure of the backcourt ahead to Ewing into the forecourt, and the Knicks take a 20-second timeout. So New York takes their 22nd timeout with 8:32 to play here in the first period. The Cavs are up 8-6. Cavaliers home on Monday afternoon, the 16th, to play the Phoenix Suns. Say there were a limited number of authentic autographed Cavs basketballs available through the Cavs Better Halves, a nonprofit organization operated by the wives and girlfriends of the Cavs. It's first come, first served for these collector's items. A $100 price will be given to the Cavs Foundation, a nonprofit organization formed to benefit local charities. Call Bob Zink at 659-2262 to order your Cavs autographed basketballs. Newman inbounds to Jackson, around to the right side to Gerald Wilkins. Wilkins outside the three-point arc against Ron Harper. 8:25 to go in the first period. The ball lobbed inside to Ewing. Ewing, right of the lane, goes in, shoots over Doherty, and hits. Patrick Ewing with his first two. 10-8 Cavs. On the right wing, Price drops the ball in. Sanders, the turnaround shot off the rim, no good. On the rebound to Jackson. Down the floor come the New York Knicks, feed underneath to Oakley, and he drives it home. Oakley with his first two, and the Cavs and the Knicks are even at 10. Each of the Knicks ball players on the floor have 2 points. Right wing Harper, the bounce into Sanders. He stepped to the baseline as he pivoted to go to his left. Turnover gives the ball back to New York. Jackson brings it ahead. Jackson into the forecourt. 7:44 to play in the period. Top side to Oakley. Off of the left wing to Jackson. He saves it, but saves it to Doherty. Doherty pounds his way into the forecourt. Brad whips it over to Nance. Nance in the lane up with a jumper. Good. Little jump hook by Larry Nance. 6 points for Nance. Doherty with the takeaway, the trip down floor, and the assist. 12-10 Cavs. Right sideline, Jackson. Out front to Wilkins. Lobs under to Oakley. Muscles the shot up. No. Tip no. Tip no. Rebound out to Sanders. Sanders gives the ball to Price off of the right side. Nance drives inside. Lays it in. 8 points for Larry Nance, and the Cavs are up 14-10. Newman looking for three, couldn't do it. Right side, Wilkins. Wilkins goes in on Harper, in the lane, flips it up on the rim. No, Doherty with a rebound. Outside to Price. Price into the forecourt of the left wing, pulls up for the 20-footer. Good! Price with his first two. The Cavs move ahead 16-10. 6:43 to play in the period. Into the forecourt, Jackson to the left wing. Jackson lobs underneath to Ewing, pops it up and in. Ewing with 4, 16-12 Cavaliers. 6.5 minutes to play in the period. Right wing, Price. Price dribbling with the right hand along the sideline to Harper. Now to Doherty in the lane. He goes right to the basket and wham! Brad Doherty with 4. Cavaliers 18-12. 6:16 to play. Off of the right sideline, Wilkins. Wilkins outside the three-point line. Bounce to Jackson, top of the key. Left wing to Oakley. Drops it into Ewing. Ewing left to the lane. Goes into the lane. Flips it off and a whistle and a push. Brad Doherty with a foul. Doherty picks up his first foul. And there will be a timeout called for the Cavs. 6:02 to play in the period. The Cavs 18-12 on the Cleveland Cavalier Radio Basketball Network.
For the Knicks, number 6, Trent Tucker, number 7, Kenny Walker.
Off on the right wing, Jackson. Also number 7, Kenny Walker is checked in for the Knicks. Right of the lane, Ewing up for the shot. Glass and rim ball slapped around, grabbed by Oakley. Goaltending. Oakley put it up, Nance blocked it, but Oakley gets credit for the basket. 18-14 in favor of the Cavs. Into Harper against the pressure. Now to Price. Price into the forecourt. Pulls up to the 20-footer and drills it. Price with 4, and the Cavs are up 20-14. On the right wing, Trent Tucker. Tucker, a real master at the three-point field goal. Out front to Oakley. The lob inside to Jackson under the basket. Flips it up and in. Mark Jackson with 4. And the Cavs 20-16 and a delay of game warning against the New York Knicks. Oh, the ball comes into Sanders against the pressure. Ahead to Price, back over to Sanders, down the right side to Nance. Nance back out to Price. Price on the right wing. Price dribbling with the right hand. The ball lobbed inside, intercepted by Jackson. Jackson driving down the floor, puts it up, and it's to Ewing, and Ewing slams it home. 6 for Ewing. 20-18 Cleveland. Price into Doherty. Ball knocked away by Jackson. Jackson left to the lane, turns back and fires out front to Tucker. Tucker on the left side to Jackson. Jackson spins away from Price. Inside, flips it up on the rim. No. Rebound brought down by Nance. Tied up. Oakley and Jackson. Jump ball. 20-18 Cleveland. 4:54 to play in the period. And Hot Rod Williams will get the call off the Cavalier bench. Averaging 11 a game at 7 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 blocks against New York. And sitting down will be Mike Sanders. Sanders scoreless. Well, there's no doubt about it. Mike Sanders has seen the barber since we saw him last. Ball slapped around. He'll fit right in out there at Seattle with all those ball domes on the right side. Walker. Walker deals out front to Oakley. Top of the key, fires no good on the rebound grab by Harper. Harper heads down the floor with the dribble into the forecourt. Harper on the wing, drops it off to Hot Rod, and he walks with the ball, driving to the basket from the right side. So that'll give the ball back to New York. 4:37 to play of the period. Rod Strickland is getting ready to come on for the Knicks, coming out of the doghouse. On the right side, Tucker bounced down in the corner to Kenny Walker. Walker from the right side of the forecourt, right of the lane up with a jumper off the rim, and it ricochets outside to Price. Price comes over the timeline for the Cavs on the right wing to the line, drops it off on the left to Harper. Behind the back bounce for Nance, who has to go out on the sideline to corral the ball. Brings it back in, puts up the fadeaway, glass and rim, no. Hot Rod back outside, deflected ball into the corner, Cavs ball. Here comes Strickland into the game. Strickland 6'3" to Paul's first-round draftee for the Knicks. 9 a game against the league, 9 against the Cavs with 6 assists. And Mark Jackson sits down with 4 points. 4:07 to go. Now they are asking the photography corps, and there are a lot of them here today, to move back off the sideline. Hot Rod deals it into Doherty. Behind the back, bounce to Nance, he slammed it. Nance with 10 and Doherty with a behind the back, passed it, looked outstanding. That'll make the highlight film. 3:55 to play in the first quarter. Right side Strickland, right of the circle to Ewing, spins into the lane, up with a 6-footer, no good. Rebound Doherty. Doherty sends it down floor to Harper. Harper on the right wing. Harper working against Tucker into the lane. Stops for the 8-footer. Back of the rim, no good. Ball slapped by Hot Rod, but outside and out of bounds. So the Cavaliers, leading by 4, give the ball back to New York, and Oakley into Strickland. Strickland takes it to the timeline into the forecourt. 3:33 to play in the first quarter. Right sideline Tucker out to Oakley. Pressure from Hot Rod. Oakley back to Tucker. Tucker sideline right, drops it into Ewing. Ewing backing in on Doherty, then back outside to Tucker. Tucker drives inside, puts it up and walks with the ball. 3:20 to go in the period. The Cavs by 4. And there's a technical foul on Oakley. Now, Oakley should have been nailed with one earlier. It's another delay of game warning. Earl Strom let him get away with it the first time. But that time, Oakley just didn't even let the ball go. So Price will go to the free throw line. Puts the toss up around the rim and off. No, Price standing there with an 89% mark, missed the technical foul shot. 22-18 Cavs. Price to Harper at the timeline, and then he steps into the forecourt down the left side to Hot Rod and back out to Harper on the left wing. Harper makes the play call. Gives to Doherty between the circles. Doherty on the right wing to Nance. Nance comes down the right side, fakes Ewing, and then puts up his shot. In and out. Rebound out to Strickland. Strickland comes over the timeline into the forecourt. Down to the circle. Strickland bounced left side to Tucker. Into Ewing. Ewing double teamed over on the right side to Walker. Walker baseline shot. Blocked. Grabbed by Walker again out of Ewing. Back out to Strickland. Strickland left to the circle for the jumper. Good. Rod Strickland with his first 2. 22-20 Cavs, 2:37 to play in the first period. Up to the timeline, Mark Price into the forecourt of the left sideline to Hot Rod Williams. John holding the ball over his head, deals it out front to Doherty. Doherty on the three-point arc, whips it right wing to Price. He runs in to Strickland and a blocking foul on Strickland. Strickland with his first foul. That's the 3rd of New York as a team. Timeout. 2:23 to play first period. The Cavs 22-20. Strickland in on the right side of the forecourt looking for Sidney Green, who's checked in at forward. Tucker back to Strickland under to Green. Flips it up at the rim, no good. Got his own, put it back up, hung it on the rim and in. No Sidney Green manages to score, and a long feed to Harper. Drives with a wham to the basket. Harper with 9, and the Cavaliers get the 5-point lead right back. Now what? Darnell Valentine was ready to come into the game. They wouldn't let him, and now the ball belongs to the Cavaliers. 1:45 to play in the period. Into the forecourt, Strickland to the top of the key to the line. Into the lane, forces the shot, but it goes. Strickland with 4, and it's 27-24 Cavs. In against the pressure, Nance to Price. Price into the forecourt of the left wing. Price comes down the left side to the baseline, bounce to Doherty. Wham with the right hand. 6 for Doherty, and the Cavs lead 29-24. A minute 19 to play in the period. On the left wing, Strickland sideline left. Into Ewing. Ewing moves it into the lane with a right-hand jump hook. Good. Ewing with 8. Cavaliers 29-26. Price of the backcourt against Strickland over the timeline into the forecourt. Going to drive it all the way. Give it to Hot Rod underneath. Hot Rod muscles it up. No good. Rebound brought down by Sidney Green. Green in the backcourt. Fires down the floor to Walker. Walker drives the wing. Flips it up off the glass to Harper. Harper in the backcourt. Harper comes over the timeline into the forecourt. Harper whips it under to Nance. Bang! For 2. 12 points for Larry Nance. 31-26. The Cavs by 5. 38 seconds to play in the first period. Strickland between the circles. Strickland goes to the right wing against Price. He stops and deals out front to Walker. Walker left wing to Tucker. Drops it into Sidney Green. Green back it in, turns to his left and walked with the ball. That'll give it back to the Cavs. Here comes Darnell Valentine in now for the Cavs. 5 a game against the league, and at 4 in the first meeting in New York. He replaces Mark Price, who sits down with 4 points. Coming over the timeline, Ron Harper working the right wing, letting the clock tick down to 10. Harper right wing, double team, comes around Ewing. Almost lost the ball, picks it up, goes into the lane for the 12-footer off the back of the rim. Harper got it again, put it up, blocked by Ewing, and that's the end of the first period. The end of one. The Cleveland Cavaliers, 31. The New York Knicks, 26 on the Cleveland Cavalier Radio Basketball Network. Eddie Wilkins checks in for the New York Knicks at center, giving Ewing a breather. He sits down with 8 points. Trent Tucker and Rod Strickland are the guards. Sidney Green at one forward. Kenny Walker at the other. It's for New York. Nance on the right side for the Cavs, who have the ball. Nance outside the three-point arc, lob it to Doherty. Puts up a shot that never got there, but a foul is called on the shot. And the foul is on Sidney Green. Green with his first, New York with their first. Brad Doherty goes to the free throw line. Brad missed a free throw in the first period. Unloads, good. 7 points for Doherty, and the Cavaliers move ahead 32-26. And Doherty's second one pounds at the front of the rim, no good. Eddie Wilkins with a rebound. Through the first quarter, the Cavs shot 52%, the Knicks 45%. On the boards, Cleveland 17-12. Walker on the three-point arc, gives to Tucker. Off of the right side to Walker. Walker against Nance, back over on the left wing. Tucker comes down the left side, puts it up with a run, good off the glass. Tucker with his first 2. The Cavs 32-28 against the pressure. Valentine flips it in, the ball knocked away from Nance, recovered by New York, and a three-pointer. Grant Tucker drills that 3. You just cannot allow him open out there or he will kill you. 32-31 Cavs. Ball ahead to the timeline. Valentine kept it from going out of bounds, but it goes to Walker. To Strickland, back to Walker, drives and missed. Tip up and in. Sidney Green should get credit. Sidney Green gets the tip in. He has 4, and the Cavaliers are going to take a 20-second timeout before things get totally out of hand. Cavaliers suddenly find themselves down 33-32. Larry Nance is going to take a seat. He has 12 points in the ball game. Greg Elo checks in for the first time, averaging 6 points. 10:50 to go here in the first half. Cavaliers briefly with a 6-point advantage, but the Knicks have come right back to take the 1-point lead. Cavaliers on the road for the next 4. It will be an extremely difficult road trip. They're playing 4 teams on the West Coast, all of them at better than 500, and all of them extremely tough at home. Elo into the ball game. Valentine over to Harper, down the left side to Hot Rod. Hot Rod against Walker. Hot Rod on the wing, stops, gives the ball to Elo, back out to Harper. 10 on the shot clock. Harper on the three-point arc. Harper top of the key, right side. Elo puts it in the air, right there. Elo with his first 2, and the Cavs go back on top, 34-33. Into the forecourt, left sideline, Strickland against Valentine. The bounce inside to Eddie Wilkins, back to Strickland, drives the baseline for the 8-footer, good with a rainbow. Strickland with 6. The Knicks are back on top by 1. 35-34. Valentine quickly to the forecourt. Stops, lobs it over to Elo. Elo got it away from Green, comes down the right wing, stops out front to Valentine. Left side, Harper for the 3. No, rebound. Elo, sideline right into Doherty. Doherty feeds to Harper, steps out of the left side and then gives to Hot Rod. Hot Rod muscles into the lane, throws the shot up. It doesn't go, but he's fouled. So Hot Rod will go to the line. Foul on Strickland. That is his second. That is New York's second. Hot Rod Williams going to the free throw line. He has yet to score in the ball game. Mark Jackson will be coming back in here. Hot Rod 73% from the line, puts the first one up and in. And the ball game is tied at 35. Mark Price back in for Cleveland, replacing Harper. Ronnie sits down with 9 first quarter points. Second toss for Hot Rod follows the first one in. That's 2 for John. And with Mark Jackson back in the ball game, the Knicks bring it into the forecourt. 36-35 Cleveland. Left side, Jackson dribbling with the right hand. Out front to Trent Tucker, back to Jackson. Jackson on the left wing, ball into Wilkins. Wilkins goes into the lane. The jump hook is off the back of the rim. Ricochets out to Wilkins. He dropped it, picks it back up, gives to Tucker. Tucker, right side of the forecourt. Tucker down to the baseline for the jumper, good. Tucker with a quick 7 at the outset of the second period. 37-36 Knicks. Into the forecourt, Valentine. Left side line to Doherty, back out to Valentine. And a whistle, and now what? Got an illegal defense? Yes, the Knicks with an illegal defense. It is their first. So it brings Dudley into the ball game. Chris in, averaging better than 3 a game. Doherty sits down with 7. Elo into Dudley. Dudley against Eddie Wilkins. Dudley one bounce, goes right side to Valentine. Valentine around to Dudley, picked to the line, to the lane, puts up the shot. Good! Darnell gets his first 2, and the Cavs back on top, 38-37. 8:49 to play in the first half. Jackson on the right wing, out front to Tucker. Tucker covered by Valentine on the right wing to Jackson. Ball into Wilkins, backs in, turns with a jump hook, good. Eddie Wilkins with his first 2. 39-38 New York. Valentine to the other end for the Cavs. 8.5 to play in the half. Bounce over to Dudley. Dudley left wing, back out to Valentine. Valentine down the left side. Turns on his dribbles. Bounce to Dudley. Dudley turns, puts the shot up, back of the rim. No, tip up and in by Hot Rod. Hot Rod with 4 Caps lead, 40-39. Into the forecourt, Jackson. Jackson over to the right side and a push off the ball. Foul on Chris Dudley. Dudley has his first foul, and that is the first of the Cavs as a team. 8:10 to go, first half. Walker in on the left wing to Jackson. Jackson between the circles, goes to the right wing against Price. Jackson down the right side to the baseline, under the basket, off to Walker, left side from 18, drills it. Kenny Walker with his first 2. 41-40 New York. Valentine into Hot Rod Williams. Hot Rod in the backcourt. Dribbles the ball ahead, checked by Green, back to Price. Price comes into the forecourt. Got a 2-hand push from Green. And a whistle now and a technical foul on Lenny Wilkins. Lenny got a T for Bernie Fryer because Bernie Fryer stood there sucking on his whistle and did not make an obvious call. Mark Jackson will shoot the technical foul. Boy, that was so obvious, it was embarrassing. Mark Jackson to shoot the technical foul shot. He missed it. The Cleveland crowd is becoming rather good at wiping out free throws after calls they really don't like. Elo into Dudley. Dudley goes to the basket, put it up. No, tried the slam. A foul was called. And the foul is on Mark Jackson. Jackson with his first. That's the third of New York as a team. 41-40 New York. Here's Chris Dudley on the free throw line. The Dudley free throw story, well chronicled. 11 of 40 for the year. One up, in. Game tied at 41. Ewing, Oakley, Newman will wait a little longer. Ewing back in with 8, Oakley back in with 4. 7:38 to play in the first half. Dudley again hits the rim with it, and it falls on the floor, grabbed by Oakley. Game tied at 41. Up to the timeline, Jackson into the forecourt. Mark Jackson works to the left wing. Off of the left sideline, Newman is back in there as well with 2 points. Jackson and Oakley hand back and forth, and then Jackson goes to the circle, spins inside, runs into Dudley, who fouled him. Now Chris Dudley has his second foul. and the Cavaliers second as a team. 7:18 to play, and with this, a timeout called by the Cleveland Cavaliers. Timeout, 41-41, and we'll be back after we take this timeout on the Cleveland Cavalier Radio Basketball Network. Cavaliers of the Knicks are even at 41, although Mark Jackson has a real good chance of breaking the tie. Line to the left. Aims it, shoots it, missed it. 41-41. Cavaliers of the Knicks on a Saturday afternoon at the Coliseum. Now the crowd's really getting into it. Up again. Good. 5 points for Mark Jackson, and the Knicks are up 42-41. Again, the pressure. Dudley has it to the backcourt. He needs some help. Dudley ahead to Hot Rod into the forecourt, down the right side to Harper. And then Harper whips the ball to Dudley down the lane, put it up, and he is fouled driving to the basket. Foul is on Patrick Ewing. Ewing tried to draw a charge but couldn't get himself set in time. That's 4 fouls on New York as a team first on Ewing, and here's Dudley at the line again. Chris 1 for 2 at the line. Shoves the first one up, back of the rim, no good. Discounting that first miss, Dudley had hit 8 of his last 16 free throws. Chris ready, aims and fires, good. Well, Dudley makes it a 42-42 tie, and the Cavaliers drop back defensively as Jackson comes into the forecourt against Price. Gives the ball to Oakley, back to Jackson on the left wing. Hands the ball to Newman, and a whistle and a reach-in foul. And the foul is on Craig Elo. Elo has his first foul, and that's the third on the Cavs as a team. Jackson on the left wing. Jackson against Price. Jackson flips the ball into Ewing. Ewing left of the lane, into the lane, puts up the runner, beauty. Ewing with 10. Cavs trail 44-42 against pressure. The ball lobbed to Hot Rod, ahead to Price. Price into the forecourt on the left wing. Price outside the three-point arc. Ewing on the double team. Price dribbles by them both down the lane, out to Harper, top side to Elo, right side Hot Rod from 16 feet. Good. Hot Rod with 6, and the Cavs tied up again, this time at 44. Doherty getting ready to come back in. Right sideline, Wilkins. Inside to Ewing. Lob over to Newman. Left wing for the 3. Missed it. Rebound out to Elo. Down the floor to Hot Rod. Over to Price. Price fills the middle. Gives to Harper. Drives and scores. Harper with 11. And the Cavaliers on top 46-44 in a ball game just as good as we thought it would be. Into the forecourt, Jackson. Jackson to the left sideline, dribbling with the right hand against Mark Price. Stops, goes into Ewing. Ewing back out to Jackson, back into Ewing. Ewing turns, hooks over Dudley, and scores. Ewing with a dozen, and it's 46-46 at the other end. Price pulls up for the runner, glass and rim, no. Rebound Oakley, whips it down to Jackson. 2-on-1 with Gerald Wilkins. Back to Jackson, drives and scores. Now Jackson has 7, and the Knicks go back on top by 2. Into the forecourt, Elo to Harper. Harper takes it down right side to Hot Rod from 16. Shot no good. Rebound knocked around, grabbed by Newman. Newman in the backcourt. Newman sends it ahead to Oakley. Oakley drops it off to nobody in particular, and it's a double dribble. He passed it to himself, in other words. Well, the Cavaliers get the ball back. Here comes Doherty into the ball game. Brad back in with 7. And Dudley sits down with 2. 48-46 New York, 4:56 to play in the second quarter. On the left wing, Price to Hot Rod, who fires and hits again. 8 points for John, and the ball game is tied at 48. Wilkins against Harper with 4:35 to go in the half. Lob underneath to Oakley, muscles it up. Blocked by Doherty, outside to Harper. Harper into the forecourt. Harper slows it down and sets up the play. Game tied at 48. Nance getting ready to come back in. Right side, Price from 20. Good! 6 for Price. The Cavs lead 50-48. Down the right side, Gerald Wilkins. Wilkins sideline right. Harper comes out on him. Wilkins still dribbling. Ewing sets the pick. Wilkins goes into the lane, lays it on the rim, and it's tipped. And offensive goal interference on Charles Oakley gives the ball back to the Cavs. Larry Nance returns. Nance in with 12 points. Craig Elo sits down with 2. 50-48 Cleveland. Hot rod into Price. Price takes the ball into the forecourt, well shy of the timeline. Stops, pressure from Jackson. Fires to Nance, fumble the ball, picked up by Jackson. Jackson heads down the middle, lays it up on the rim. No, tip up and in by Oakley. Oakley with 6, and the ball game is tied at 50. And again, the full court pressure into Nance. Back over to Price. Price drives into the forecourt. Price down to the circle off of the right wing. Backs outside the three-point arc. Price on the right wing. Nance the pick. Price top of the key. Back to Nance. Goes in on Ewing. Flips it up and in. Larry Nance with 14, and the Cavs are up 52-50. On the right side, Gerald Wilkins gives the ball to Jackson. Cross court, Newman left wing, sets for the 3, doesn't do it, spins down the lane, handed it to Doherty. Doherty fires it down floor, and the ball picked up by Jackson. And now what? Whistle. They want to recycle the clock. Earl Strom telling the timekeeper to recycle the clock and give the ball to the Knicks at the timeline. And that's exactly what happens. Newman into Oakley. To Wilkins. Wilkins on the right wing. Wilkins against Harper, sideline right. Wilkins, the bounce into Jackson, gets away from Price, drives and missed it. Rebound Jackson again, blocked. Harper took it out of the air and lobs it out of bounds. And Price ends up sitting in the courtside seats. 52-50 Cleveland, Knicks ball again. Newman gets the ball into Oakley. To Wilkins, back outside to Jackson. Jackson flips to Oakley at the top of the key, hot rod on him, left wing to Jackson. Ball into Ewing. Ewing backs in, then out to Jackson. Jackson drives to the circle. Now to Wilkins down the left side. Open jumper, missed it. Rebound, grabbed by Nance, out to Harper. Harper over the timeline into the forecourt of the right wing, drops it to Doherty, who fumbles it, but got it back. Then Doherty drives in under the basket, fights one up, no good. Rebound on the floor, slapped by a hot rod out of bounds. Cavs ball. It hit Oakley in the leg going out of bounds. 2:25 to play in the first half. The Cavs lead 52-50. Hot Rod Williams outside to Harper. Harper standing near the timeline, cross court of the left wing to Price, into Doherty. Doherty against Ewing, goes into the lane, turns baseline, fake, shoots, missed, but fouled by Ewing. Ewing with his second foul, and it'll put Doherty on the free throw line. Brad is 1 for 3 at the line and has 7 points in the ball game. Cavaliers with a 52-50 lead and 2:15 to play in the first half. Doherty's first free throw is good. He has 8. Here comes Wilkins back into the ball game with 2 points, and they put Ewing on the bench with that second foul. He sits down with 12 points. 2:15 to go in the half, and Doherty missed the second free throw, and the rebound Oakland. Cavaliers 53-50. In the backcourt, Jackson over the timeline on the right wing to Wilkins. Out front to Newman. Newman back to Gerald Wilkins. Back out to Newman, but a whistle and an illegal defense this time of the Cavaliers. Oh, one of each. Knicks had one earlier in the period. New 24-second clock, 2:03 to go in the first half. Newman on the near side of the forecourt, flips it out front to Gerald Wilkins. Wilkins between the circles, 2 minutes to go. Gerald Wilkins to the left wing. Over on the right wing, Jackson fakes the 3, goes to the line, into the lane, scoops it up, no, tipped by Oakley is good. Charles Oakley with 8, and it is 53-52 Cavs. Price into the forecourt. Price between the circles, over to the right wing. Price outside the three-point arc, 1:38 to go in the half. Price looking for Nance, ball knocked away by Jackson, picked up by Oakley. Oakley driving down the floor, goes in on Price, and they call the hoop and the block. Another terrible call by Bernie Fryer. Fryer calls the blocking foul on Harper. The difference between the charge and the block is whether or not the defensive player establishes position, and he was there long enough to vote. They show it again on the tell screen, and it looks worse the second time around. Oakley, however, has the basket to give the Knicks the lead. Missed the free throw. Doherty with a rebound. 10 points for Oakley. Down to the other end, Harper drives and got the basket right back. 13 for Harper. 55-54 Cavaliers. Wilkins off of the right side, lobs it outside to Jackson, off of the left wing to Newman. On the left side, Oakley puts it in the air, in and out, rebound, grabbed by Hot Rod. He lost it, loose to the floor. Harper dives, got it, and while on the floor, he is tied up, I think. What do they got here? What is Earl calling? Earl is calling a foul, I think. Yes. A foul on Eddie Wilkins. That is Wilkins' first foul. I'll tell you why I called it on him, because Wilkins jumped on him. Earl's interpretation was obviously that Eddie Lee Wilkins, although going for the ball, threw his body on Harper and therefore was guilty of a foul. Here is Harper's free throw, good. 14. 14 for Harper. It's just a shame the league can't go start a little factory somewhere and make Earl Stroms, because he is perfect for the pro game. 15 points for Harper, and the Cavaliers are up 57-54. He may not always like what he calls, but he is excellent. Right sideline, Gerald Wilkins for the three. No, rebound, Doherty had it knocked away from him by Oakley, and the Cavs get it back. 54 seconds to play in the first half. Harper will bring the ball to the timeline. Crosses into the forecourt. Valentine has replaced Price on the left wing. Harper looks, flips the ball for Doherty. Doherty feeds it underneath, intending it for Nance, and it's off Nance's hand and out of bounds. Well, that one gives the ball back to New York. Ahead to Jackson. Jackson into the forecourt. Jackson drives down the lane, throws it up. It never got there. Deflected and then knocked away and out of bounds. So the Cavs get it back. 29 seconds to play of the first half. The Cavs by 3. Valentine in the backcourt. Takes it over the time stripe into the forecourt of the left wing. Valentine dribbling with the right hand. Gerald Wilkins covers him. Valentine watching with 16 seconds. The hook pass to Doherty, left side. Hot Rod, the jumper, no good. Rebound, Doherty, loose ball, foul on the Cavs. And the foul is on Brad Doherty. Doherty with his second foul. That'll put the Cavs over the limit. And they'll walk down to the New York line. Now, this ball game has turned out to be everything we thought it would be. 57-54. At the free throw line, Gerald Wilkins. In New York, when these two teams played, it was 65-58 at halftime, New York, and Wilkins just put the first free throw off the front of the rim, no good. Gerald Wilkins, an 81% shooter. Wilkins ready again. 11 seconds to go in the half. Tosses up and good. So Wilkins with his third point. Pressure, Valentine for Doherty, and the ball knocked away and out of bounds. So the Cavs get it back with 10 seconds. Knicks laying on some heavy full court pressure D. Valentine baseline, and the Cavs are, no, it's a 5-second call. 5-second violation gives the ball back to the New York Knicks. They played some outstanding defense that time. Wilkins deals it outside to Jackson on the left wing. Jackson against Valentine, doubled by Hot Rod on the right side to Newman. They want a three. Out to Jackson, and Jackson throws one, and it's off the mark, and the first half is history. At the intermission, Cleveland 57, the New York Knicks 55 of the Cleveland Cavaliers Radio Basketball Network. Although the second half turns out to be even half as good as the first half, we're in for a heck of an afternoon of basketball here at the Coliseum. The officials again are Earl Strom, Bernie Fryer, and Woody Mayfield. The Knicks in the traveling blue send out that starting five again. Jackson and Wilkins are the guards, Newman and Oakley at the forwards, and Ewing at center. Cavaliers counter in the home white with Price and Harper at the guards, Nance and Sanders at the forwards, and Doherty in the middle. And into the forecourt come the Cavaliers. Price over to Sanders. Sanders shy of the timeline, steps into the forecourt, then a pass cross court, knocked away by Oakley, picked up by Price, bounced down the sideline, Sanders fumbles it, back out to Price. Right wing to Nance, fires under to Doherty, jump hook, good with a right hand. Doherty with 10, and the Cavaliers lead 59-55. Down the left side, Newman, he is charging. He hooked around Harper and picked up the charging foul. And that will give the ball back to the Cavaliers. Cleveland leads by 4. 11:29 to play, third quarter. Harper over to Price down the left side. Sanders from 18, hits the rim, no. Rebound knocked outside to Jackson. Jackson coming into the forecourt, goes to the line, goes to the lane, behind him to Wilkins, down the lane, finger rolls it up, in and out, grabbed by Oakley, throws it up, no good, rebound Nance. Nance out to Price. Price into the forecourt over to Sanders, bangs over Newman, gives to Doherty, jump hook, no. Rebound knocked outside, Jackson and Sanders scramble for it. Ball rolls away, picked up by Doherty, slaps the ball to Price. Price on the left wing, 10 on the shot clock. Price sideline left with 7 on the clock. Price goes to the circle to the line, scoops to Doherty. Doherty fumbles with 3. Doherty turns, throws a desperation heave over the hoop, and a 24-second violation gives the ball back to the New York Knicks. 59-55 Cleveland. Into the forecourt, Jackson, right sideline to Gerald Wilkins. Wilkins against Harper. Wilkins hanging out of the basketball in front of the Cavalier bench, backing in on Harper. Wilkins turns to his right, skids to a stop, and Nance blocked his shot. Outside to Price. Price into the forecourt down the left sideline, drives the baseline, threw one up at the rim, and it didn't drop, but a foul is called on Gerald Wilkins. Gerald Wilkins picks up his second foul. First one on the Knicks as a team. Mark Price at the free throw line. 0 for 1 at the line in the ball game. 59-55, the Cavaliers leading with 10:23 to play in the ball game. Price shoves the first one off the back of the rim, no good. 10:23 to play, third quarter. Price ready again. Up, in and out, but back in. So Price has his 7th point of the ball game, and the Cavaliers lead 60-55. Jackson into the forecourt to Oakley, off of the right side to Wilkins, and back out front to Jackson. Jackson takes it over to the left wing. Jackson sideline left. Jackson flips the ball to Ewing. Ewing, left side of the forecourt. Back out to Jackson. 6 on the shot clock. Right sideline to Newman. Newman against Sanders. He spins. Shot blocked by Sanders. Grabbed by Price down the floor to Harper. Harper on the left wing into the air. Put it up on the iron. Nobody was fouled driving to the basket. And the foul is again on Wilkins. Wilkins with his 3rd foul. 2nd in the period for the Knicks. This time Ron Harper will shoot the free throws. Harper has gone 4 for 4 at the free throw line and has put together a sensational first half of basketball. 60-55. Harper unloads, good. Ron with 16 on the Cavaliers lead, 61-55. Wilkins replaced by Trent Tucker, who's back in with 7 points. Second toss up, good. 17 points for Harper and the Cavaliers, 62-55. Jackson cross court to Ewing, ahead to Newman. Newman on the left wing against Sanders. Stops, bounce inside to Ewing. Ewing goes into the middle with a running right-hander that's a beauty. Ewing with 14, and the Cavaliers lead 62-57. Shy of the timeline, they give to Harper. He's into the forecourt, double team. Turns, and timeout, Cleveland. So the Cavaliers take the timeout with 9:27 to play, and they want a 20 rather than the full. So the Cavs are taking their 22nd timeout now rather than the full timeout. That will allow us to tell you that Cavs Scout Day will be coming on February the 20th when the Cavs play the Rockets in a 1:30 game. For information on discount tickets, contact your Scoutmaster or Steve Meyer at 659-2140. Cavaliers 62-57 with 9:27 to play in the third quarter. Cavaliers 62-57 with 9:27 to play in the third quarter. Sanders on the timeline, lobs the ball. Harper comes down inside, forces the shot up and got it. Harper with 19, and the Cavaliers are up 64-57 with 9:17 to play in the third quarter. Into the forecourt, Jackson to the right wing, bounce to the right sideline to Tucker. Tucker outside to Oakley. Oakley to the top of the key. Bounces it left of the lane, in goes Ewing. He forced the shot up, in, and foul. So Ewing with 16 will look for 17. Foul was on Sanders. That is Sanders' first foul. One shot for Ewing, 64-59 with 9:04 to play in the third quarter. Ewing at the free throw line for the first time, and he put it on the rim and in. 17 for Ewing, improving on a 74% shooting mark. 64-60 Cavs. Into the forecourt, Price over to Sanders. Sanders on the left side to Nance, back to Sanders. Sanders left wing, off to the left sideline to Nance, into Doherty. Doherty left to the lane, muscles in on Ewing, turns and walks with the ball. No hoop, walking call on Doherty. 8:47 to play in the third quarter. Oakley in on the pass to Jackson, who takes it to the right wing. Jackson around to Ewing, pick on the left wing to Tucker. Down the left side to Oakley. Oakley from 20 feet drills it. So Oakley with a dozen, and the Knicks are right back in the ball game, 64-62. Long feed left side. Sanders giving the wing to Price. Price out front against Oakley. Price then dribbles into the circle, into the lane, throws it up as he goes. Good. Price with 9, and that was something to see. 66-62. 8:12 to play third quarter. Right wing, Jackson to Tucker, back to Jackson. Jackson with pressure from Price. Jackson stops down the sideline. Tucker from 20 hits. Tucker with 9. 66-64 Cavs. Right wing, Price over to Harper, down to Nance, under the basket, goes over Ewing and scores. Nance with 16, and the Cavaliers 68-64. Into the forecourt, Jackson calls and gets a 20-second timeout. Knicks take a 20, the Cavs lead 68-64 at the Coliseum. Hey, if you're looking for Cavs tickets, and a lot of people are, there are 3 ways to get them. Stop by the Coliseum box office, open 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday. It is also open on Sunday when there is an event at the Coliseum. You can, of course, call Teletron 524-0000 in Cleveland, or the 1-800-362-0400 number. That's 1-800-362-0400 for Teletron. And of course, the doors open to the Coliseum for Cavs games 1 hour and 15 minutes before game time. You can also pick up Cavs tickets at all Ticketron outlets. Knicks with the ball. The Cavs with a 4-point lead and 7:45 to play in the third quarter. Newman on the near side of the forecourt, and the Knicks have to take a full timeout. Cavaliers could not allow the Knicks to get it in with that excellent defense, and now we'll be back after this timeout on the Cleveland Cavaliers Radio Basketball Network, and this for Labatt's. Cavs this time let the Knicks get it in, and Jackson forces a shot up, and it was knocked out of bounds. Cavaliers with about a dozen block shots in this game. They had 8 in the first half. 7:32 to play in the third quarter. Tucker, baseline left to the basket. Deals it on the left side. Jackson on the baseline outside to Ewing at the free throw line. Put up an air ball, grabbed by Sanders. Outside to Price. Price coming down on the right wing. Pulls up for the 20. Good! Mark Price with 11, and the Cavaliers are up 70-64. 7:19 to play in the third quarter. Jackson brings the ball into the forecourt. Mark Jackson out front against Mark Price. Bounce to Oakley. Oakley, top of the key, fires in and under to Newman, who turned around, drops it in the hole. Newman with 4, and the Cavaliers lead 70-66. And against pressure, it's into Sanders, who comes back to help. Give to Doherty. Doherty up to the timeline. Doherty against Oakley into the forecourt. Doherty turns, feeds to Nance, drives the middle and slams. 18 points for Nance, 72-66 Cleveland. 6:42 to play, third quarter. Jackson between the circles to the right wing. Jackson stops, top side to Tucker. Tucker in the lane to Newman. Newman goes to the basket, missed. Blocked by Nance. Grabbed by Oakley, blocked by Nance. Outside to Price, who had it poked away. Grabbed by Jackson. Down the floor to Newman. Give to Ewing, back to Jackson. Under the hoop, put it up and in. Mark Jackson with 9. 72-68 Cavaliers. Into the forecourt, Harper to the line, right side, Price puts it up, no. Rebound off the hand of Doherty and Ewing out of bounds, Cavs ball. Both Doherty and Ewing reached for it, but Ewing had a finger on it a little bit longer. And later, 2 changes. Strickland comes in for the Knicks, 6 points, 2 fouls. Sidney Green back into the ball game, 4 points and a foul. Oakley sits down, Mark Jackson sits down. Sanders, the bounce into Doherty. Doherty turns on the baseline and steps out of bounds, trying to come around Ewing. 6:04 to play, third quarter. It is 72-68 Cavaliers. To the timeline, to the forecourt, Strickland. Rod Strickland, the rookie from DePaul, bounce on the right wing to Tucker, gets away from Harper. Tucker on the right wing, out front to Sidney Green. Green against Nance. Green to the left wing, drops it into Ewing, will fumble the ball out of bounds. Cavaliers get it back. 5:46 to play, third quarter. Ball to Price. Price fires to Sanders. Left of the lane, 10-footer, no good. Rebound, Doherty gets it, muscles it back up. Holding called. 5:38 to play. The foul is on Trent Tucker, I believe. So Tucker picks up his first foul. The Knicks with their third as a team. And while Doherty shoots free throws, we'll pause for station identification. This is the Cleveland Cavaliers Radio Basketball Network.
This is AM 850 WRMR Cleveland.
The music of your life.
Doherty hit the first and missed the second. The Cavaliers lead by 5. Strickland on the left side with 5.5 to go in the third quarter. Out front to Newman. Elo knocks the ball away. He's replaced Sanders. Newman gets it back, spins inside and shoves Elo out of the way for the foul. Johnny Newman with his second foul, and that gives the ball back to the Cavaliers. 5:22 to go. Ball into Price and back to Elo. Elo to the timeline, lobs down the sideline. Nance goes inside and puts it in. 20 points for Larry Nance, and the Knicks take another timeout. Well, there's timeout with 5:13 to go, and this place is standing up. 75-68 Cavs on the Cleveland Cavalier Radio Basketball Network. Down the left side goes Rod Strickland against Mark Price. Out front to Green. Green against Nance on the right wing to Tucker. Tucker against Harper. Tucker inside to Ewing. Ewing right of the lane. Ewing turns, double team, ball knocked away out to Tucker. Tucker with it, pass to Strickland. He's in the lane, throws one back out to Ewing. 1 on the shot clock and a 3-second violation on Kenny Walker. Gives the ball back to the Cavs. They had him either way. Harper fires in the forecourt to Doherty. Doherty on the left wing. Doherty left side, stops back out to Harper. Harper on the left wing with 4:40 to go in the third quarter. Harper to the top of the three-point arc, right side, Price. Price goes into the lane, deals it off to Doherty, put it up, no, and the ball knocked away and belongs to the Knicks. Down the floor to Tucker. Tucker in three-point territory, gives in the corner, and Green shot didn't go. Rebound Harper. Harper with the basketball. Walks the dribble up to the timeline. The Cavs lead by 7 into the forecourt. Harper, right side, Nance from 18. No. Rebound, Doherty. Doherty on the right side, back out to Harper at the timeline. Harper gets the play call from Lenny Wilkins. Works to the right wing. Harper sideline right against Trent Tucker. Harper stops. Outside to Price. Inside Doherty in the lane. Turnaround shot blocked by Ewing. Out to Price. Price down the left side of the baseline. Gets under the basket. Flips it back outside. A whistle and a foul. Price body checked off the floor by Sidney Green. So Green with his second foul. And that is the 4th on the Knicks as a team. Elo will inbound and does to Harper. Harper on the right wing. 3:49 to play in the third quarter. The Cavs 75-68. Harper right sideline. Bounce to Nance. Nance checked by Ewing. Back to Harper. A 3 in the air. Right there. 22 for Harper. And the Cavaliers lead by 10. 78-68. On the left side, Strickland. Strickland lobs it to Ewing. Ewing left to the lane, outside to Tucker. Tucker back to Ewing. Ewing had the ball knocked away by Harper. Knocked away again. Elo to Harper. Harper drives. Win! for Harper, and the Knicks are going to take another timeout. We'll keep it here. Cavaliers lead by 12, 80-68, with some outstanding pressure defense of their own. The Knicks see the Cavaliers led by Ron Harper, and what a sensational game Ron Harper is playing here today. 80-68 is the score. The Knicks have taken their third timeout in this, the third quarter. The Cavs lead by 12. For the 9th year, the Cavs will award two $1,000 scholarships to local high school students. Seniors must submit an official application form. Applications and information may be obtained from high school guidance counselors or by writing to the NBA Scholarships, Cleveland Cavaliers, Box 355, the Coliseum, Richfield, 44286. Applications must be received by March the 3rd. Also, two $500 awards will be given by the Cavaliers. 3 minutes and 13 seconds to play in the third quarter. The Cavaliers lead 80-68. They have really come on strong, and Ron Harper is playing a sensational basketball game. Both ends of the floor. It's really an awesome performance by the third-year man from Miami of Ohio. They have not given us an attendance yet, but this place is just about full to the rafters. Cavaliers with Price and Harper at the guards, Elo and Nance at the forwards, and Brad Doherty at center. Strickland brings the ball to the timeline for the Knicks. Into the forecourt on the left wing against Price. Strickland stops, lobs the ball on the sideline to Gerald Wilkins, who's back in there. Now to Ewing, back to Wilkins, back into Ewing. Ewing turns, and Price came behind and knocked the ball out of bounds. Cavaliers are doing some outstanding double teaming. Here comes Hot Rod into the ball game. Hot Rod returns with 8 points, and Nance sits down with 20. On the baseline, ball from Tucker into Wilkins. Wilkins left sideline, out front to Strickland. 5 on the clock. Strickland drives, lays it up. No, rebound Green. Put it back up, good, and foul. Green with 6 will look for 7 at the line. And the foul is on Hot Rod Williams. So Hot Rod picks up his first foul. That's the second of the Cavs as a team. 80-70 with 2:49 to play in the third quarter. Sidney Green out of UNLV unloads the free throw, good. Green has 7, and it is 80-71. Into the forecourt, Price on the right wing. Bounce to Elo. Elo right side of the forecourt. Stops into Harper. Harper against Tucker. Harper right of the lane. Bounce out to Doherty. Doherty left to the key left side to Hot Rod. Hot Rod against Ewing out front to Doherty. Doherty back out to Price. 5 on the clock. Price from 20 out front off the back of the rim to Elo. Elo brings the ball back out front. 2:22 to play third quarter. Cavs by 9. Elo against Wilkins. Elo still dribbling. Goes right corner to Price. Price against Strickland around to the Doherty pick. Doherty gets the ball. Doherty pass over to Hot Rod left wing. 7 on the clock. Elo fakes the 3. Into the circle. Blocked by Ewing. Ball knocked outside. Grabbed by Strickland. Strickland for the Knicks into the forecourt. To the line, to the lane. Lays it up and in. Strickland with 8. And now it's down to 80-73. Harper at the other end. Drives by Green. Lays it up. No! Rebound battle on the floor. Loose ball. Picked up by Sidney Green. Green in the backcourt. Sends it ahead to Strickland. On the left side, Tucker wants to do a 3. They won't let him. Into Ewing. Ewing into the lane. Running right-hander. No. Rebound Elo. Elo in the backcourt. 1:34 to play in the third quarter. The Cavs lead by 7. Price walks the dribble into the forecourt. Price on the right wing against Strickland. Price dribbling with the right hand. Stops. The bounce into Doherty. Turns. Put up a shot. Blocked by Ewing. Grabbed by Green. Green lobs it outside to Tucker down the left side to Wilkins. Puts up the jumper. No good. Rebound Doherty. Doherty in the backcourt. Drops it off to Price. Price brings it up to the timeline with 1:05 to play in the third quarter. Price into the forecourt with a right hand bounce of the ball. Gives to Elo. Elo top of the three-point arc to Hot Rod. Hot Rod out front against Green to the line, to the lane. Runs into Elo and into Green, and a whistle, and what? A foul. It's on Sidney Green.
Foul is on Sidney Green.
Green with his third. The Knicks are over the limit. Mark Price replaced by Sanders. Sanders back in, scoreless with a foul. Price sits down with 11. 54 seconds to play. 54 seconds to play in the third quarter. Hot Rod bangs the first free throw off the back of the rim. No good. He's now 2 for 3, looking now for his 9th point. You got Walker back into the ball game with 2 points, and Green sits down. Eddie Wilkins is taken over at center. Ewing gets the breather, and Hot Rod hits the second free throw. 9 points for John, 81-73. Ewing gets the breather with 17 points. Strickland into the forecourt to the right side to Gerald Wilkins. Wilkins against Sanders. Around the Eddie Wilkins pick, Gerald Wilkins gives to Eddie Wilkins in the lane, throws one off the iron. Hot Rod slaps it outside. Tucker steps out, wants to do a 3. Sanders covers. The ball back over to Gerald Wilkins. Gerald Wilkins against Harper. Gerald Wilkins works his way to the top of the key now to Tucker. Tucker again wanting to do a 3, double teamed over to Gerald Wilkins. There goes the 3, and he missed it. Rebound into the corner, and Tucker races out of bounds after the ball. The Cavs get it back. 19 seconds to play, third quarter. The Cavs lead 81-73. Harper walking the dribble up to the timeline. Cavs can use all of the remaining moments. Harper, top side to Doherty. Doherty, top of the key, fires one. I don't know where that was going. It was deflected by Strickland, and so with 6 on the shot clock, the Cavs have the ball on the baseline. Sanders will inbound it. Baseline left to the basket. Sanders looks, gives to Harper. He's on the wing for a 3. Missed it. Rebound. Sanders. Back up. Good! Sanders with his first basket of the day. 83-73. Walker out of the backcourt. Fires it over the backboard. And at the end of 3 periods of play, the crowd stands up again. Cleveland 83. New York 73 on the Cleveland Cavaliers Radio Basketball Network. Well, the Cavaliers lead 83-73 with 12 minutes left at the Coliseum. Cavaliers will go with Brad Doherty still the man in the middle, and he's put in some moments in this ball game today. We've got Harper with 24 in a sensational outing. Elo, the other guard. Mike Sanders playing the small forward, and Hot Rod Williams at the other forward. Quickly to the timeline, into the forecourt comes Rod Strickland. Strickland for the Knicks works to the right wing. Trent Tucker is the other guard. Stops on the sideline, the bounce into Oakley. Stolen from behind by Harper. So Oakley back in the ball game at forward, at his pocket picked on the left wing. Harper left sideline, works out front, fires the ball to Sanders, goes in, puts it on the rim, and in. Sanders with 4, and the Cavaliers lead 85-73. Strickland out of the backcourt. Newman is back in at that other forward spot. Off on the left sideline, Newman with the basketball. Eddie Wilkins still at center. On the right side, Strickland. Strickland out front to Newman. Newman goes to the top of the key for the jump shot off the rim. No good. Ball on the floor to Eddie Wilkins. Fires on a block by Hot Rod. Out to Doherty. Fires it down the floor to Harper. Harper gets it, drives, win! 26 for Harper, and timeout New York as the Cavs are on the verge of blowing this one open. Timeout on the Cleveland Cavaliers Radio Basketball Network. Cavaliers find themselves leading by 14. Tucker into the circle against Elo. Tucker unloads to the top of the key and drills it. Trent Tucker with the 11. And it's 87-75 as Charles Oakley and Hot Rod Williams get ready to have at it in a little more than a basketball-like way. 87-75 Cavs. Nance with 8 blocks, 15 by the Cavs. Fired, and Nance drives inside, put it on the rim, and it didn't drop, but he was fouled on the trip to the basket. And the foul is on Eddie Wilkins. Eddie Wilkins with his second foul. Nance on the free throw line. Nance unloads, good. That is Nance's 21st point of the ball game. Nance is back in and hits a pair. Harper's getting the breather. 22 for Larry Nance. Against the pressure and a 5-second call on the New York Knicks. Well, that's one of each. Cavaliers 89-75. On the baseline, Sanders outside to Nance, between the circles to Price to the right wing to the right sideline. Out front to Nance, pass out to Sanders, put it up and in. Sanders with 6, 91-75. Cavs looking tough right now, 10:20 to play. On the left sideline, Strickland. Strickland stops, lobs, deflected pass into Eddie Wilkins. He's into the lane, put up a shot, and was fouled by Sanders, who grabbed him in the arm. Sanders with his second foul, first of the Cavs as a team. Strickland is back into the ball game. Or I should say Jackson is back into the ball game at guard with 9 points. And Strickland sits down. Up off the front of the rim. Eddie Wilkins is only a 53% shooter. 10-11 to play in the ball game. Ready for the second one, and it is bouncing around and going in. So that makes it 91-76. Eddie Wilkins with his 3rd point of the ball game. Sanders double team back outside to Elo. Deflected pass goes on the left wing to Price, back to Elo. Elo on the right side to Nance. Nance back to Sanders, right wing, fires, hits! With 8 of the Cavaliers, 93-76. Left wing Newman. Out front to Oakley. Right wing to Tucker. Tucker to the top of the key. Drives the lane up with a left-hander. Good. Brent Tucker with 13. Cavaliers, 93-78. Price in the backcourt. 9:32 to play in the ball game. The attendance here today, 20,013. They're averaging 16,507. On the left wing, Nance. Nance makes his move to the middle, knocked away from behind by Newman, grabbed by Oakley. Down the floor, Newman drives to the other end, fumble the ball, Elo stole it, clears it out to Price. Price to the forecourt, whips it to Hot Rod, he drives, win! 11 for Hot Rod and another timeout for the New York Knicks. 9:07 to play in the ball game. The Cavs 95-78 on the Cleveland Cavaliers Radio Basketball Network. Out front on the left wing, Jackson around an Oakley pick to the top of the key. Stops, pivots, looks, lobs to Ewing. Ewing spins on Hot Rod, 6-footer, no good. Rebound grab by Elo. Elo in the backcourt, over to Price. Price over the timeline into the forecourt. Price on the right wing. Off on the dribble around a Sanders pick. Stops, feeds to Sanders on the wing, fires inside, ball knocked away, grabbed by Tucker, gives the ball to Jackson. Jackson into the forecourt on the right side to Newman. Newman sideline right for the 3, no good. Rebound, Oakley knocks it up in the air, gets it in the corner, fires it out to Jackson. Jackson drives the lane, put it up and in. Marks Jackson with 11. 95-80, Cavaliers, 8:13 to play. It was at about this time in their last game, they were down by 17, and the Knicks came back and won outside Elo. But they weren't playing the Cavs either. Right sideline, Price into Nance in the lane, drops it over to Sanders. Left wing, shot up on the rim, no. Rebound, Ewing. Ewing brings it down and clears it out to Jackson. Jackson comes into the forecourt of the right wing. Sideline right, Newman for the 3, missed it. Rebound, knocked outside Tucker, left of the lane, shot up and in, off the glass. 15 for Tucker. 95-82 Cavs into the forecourt. Price got a bump from Tucker, and Tucker with a foul. That is the second foul on Trent Tucker. There used to be a kid in the days of my youth, played for Bradley, Barney Cable. He used to do that sort of thing to perfection. Here comes Harper on the right wing, 95-82. 7:27 to play. Give to Price, drives into the middle, puts it up with a run, back of the rim, no good. Rebound brought down by Oakley. Oakley gets it out to Jackson. Jackson on the right wing, Jackson to the line, Jackson to the lane, puts one up in the rim, no. Rebound and a loose ball foul. Going to be on Oakley, I think. Yes, Oakley with a foul. Oakley with his second foul. Brad Doherty will be back into the ball game. And Hot Rod Williams sits down. Doherty back in with 11. Hot Rod sits down with 11. Patrick Ewing checks back in for the Knicks with 17. 7:14 to play in the ball game. Ball into Harper. Harper in the backcourt against Oakley, back to Sanders. Sanders stops back out to Harper. Harper coming across the timeline between the circles. Goes right wing to Price. Inside to Doherty, back to Price. Price on the far right wing, comes outside, into the air ball, knocked away and out of bounds, Cavs ball. 6:53 to play, and the Cavs are going to take a timeout. They'll have 5 seconds to shoot. So timeout for Cleveland. 6:53 to play in the ball game. 95-82 Cavs, and we'll take this timeout on the Cleveland Cavaliers Radio Basketball Network. Inbound pass knocked away, stolen by Newman, and then he fumbled the ball out of bounds at the other end underneath the New York basket. 95-82 Cavaliers. And they're saying it's still going to be 5 seconds because it was tipped, so there's no possession. So the Cavs are going to have 5 seconds to shoot from the opposite end of the floor. That'll be interesting. Let's see what they do. Sanders fires it down floor to Harper. Harper stepped on the sideline. He got ready to fire a 3 and stepped on the sideline doing it. So the Knicks get it back. Jackson into Wilkins, back to Jackson. Top side to Wilkins on the right wing. He gives to Ewing at the top of the key. Back out to Mark Jackson. 6:40 to go. Pass left to the lane to Ewing. He turns around, fires it up and in. Oh, the Knicks are coming back. Ball into Doherty. Ewing has 19 points in the game. Into the forecourt, Sanders to the line. Sanders to the lane for the 8-footer. There's a big hoop. 10 points for Mike Sanders and the Cavaliers, 97-84. Into the forecourt comes New York. On the right wing, Jackson to the top of the key. To the line, to the lane, up with the right-hander. Good. Mark Jackson with 13. Cavaliers leading 97-86, down to 6 minutes to play in the ball game. Nance at the timeline, double team, steps through 2, gives to Doherty. Doherty left side to Harper, back to Doherty, runs it inside, Sanders put it up, blocked. Knocked outside to Wilkins. Wilkins over the timeline, scoop to Newman, he runs into Price, and Price is called for the foul. Price with his first foul. Cavs, team foul number 2. Newman on the free throw line. Newman has 4 points in the game. This is his first trip to the free throw line in the ball game. He's an 83% shooter, and he swishes the first of 2. 5 for Johnny Newman. He had 16 against the Cavs in New York. 97-87. Second one on the rim, and it bounces in. 6 points for Newman, and the Cavs lead by only 9. Doherty calls a timeout as they couldn't get the ball in. 5:47 to play in the ball game, and the score here at the Coliseum, 97-88 Cleveland on the Cleveland Cavalier Radio Basketball Network. Cavaliers with the ball, the lob pass into Doherty to Sanders, into the forecourt to Harper on the right wing. 5:40 to go, and the Cavs lead is down to 9. They were up by 18. On the right wing, the ball into Doherty to Sanders in the lane, pops it on the rim, no, rebound brought down by Ewing, falls down but clears to Jackson. Jackson over the timeline into the forecourt, right side to Gerald Wilkins. Out to Jackson, left wing Tucker. Tucker, top side to Jackson, right side Gerald Wilkins. Wilkins muscles his way into the lane. Put up a shot, blocked, and outside to Price. Price down the middle, feeds to Harper, he drives, he laid it on the rim, no good. Ball loose to the floor, Price picks it up. Tried to go back to Harper, and the ball knocked away, stolen by Wilkins. Down the floor to Jackson, back to Wilkins, outside Jackson. Pass under to Green, put it up, no, and walked with the ball. They say it was a pass to himself. He put it over the hoop and caught it. and that's passing to yourself, and the Cavs going to break the ball back. Harper into Price, gets away from Wilkins. Price up to the timeline, double teamed into the forecourt, and somebody whacked him. Mark Jackson is called for the push. Jackson with his second foul, and the fourth on New York as a team. Cavs ball, 4:52 to go. Cavs lead by 9. A lob. Doherty got it away from Ewing. Goes right wing, right of the lane, into the lane, throws it up. It was deflected and grabbed by Green. Green with a basketball ahead to Jackson. Jackson down to the circle, right side Tucker. He's in three-point range, then steps in, puts it up with a run, good off the glass. Trent Tucker with 17, and the Knicks are back to within 7 at 97-90. Pass to Sanders, he battles Jackson, the ball knocked free, picked up by Green. Green gives the ball to Tucker. Tucker, lob of the right side, Gerald Wilkins puts a three in the air, no. Rebound, Sidney Green got it. Sidney Green has 9, and the Knicks are right back in the game, and the crowd takes time. So the Cavaliers are taking a timeout with 4:18 to play, and the Knicks are right back in this thing. Cavaliers leading 97-92 with 4:18 to go. Cavaliers were leading 95-78 with 9:07 to play. So in the last virtually 4 minutes and 50 seconds, the Cavaliers have scored just 2 points, and Gary Briggs is working on Mark Price down underneath the Cavalier basket. He's working on his right leg. Here comes Dr. John Lombardo out to check things over. Price is flat on his back underneath the New York basket. He and Jackson collided. Jackson kind of staggered off the floor. Price is still down. John Lombardo is working again on that right leg. Up around the knee, and that's what really gives you cause for concern. Cavaliers have a 5-point lead. They were up by 17. They have been outscored 14-2 in virtually the last 5 minutes. Mark Jackson getting the treatment from the fans. Price is helped to his feet. He is walking somewhat gingerly, but he is walking under his own power, heading back to the Cavalier bench. Elo, Harper, Nance, Doherty, and Sanders on the floor. Cavs with the ball, leading by only 5. Into the forecourt, Harper. Harper gives to Doherty. Doherty back out to Harper. Harper on the right wing. Harper right sideline against Sidney Green. 4 minutes to go. Harper drives on Green, whistle, foul, Green. So Sidney Green picks up his 4th foul, and that puts the Knicks over the limit. Cavaliers in this period 6 of 11 in shooting, the Knicks 8 of 16. For the penalty situation, Harper will go to the free throw line. Ron with 26 points in the ball game, and he has hit 6 of 6 free throws. They're still working on Mark Price. The free throw is up and in for Harper. So Harper has his 27th point of the ball game, and the Cavs are up 98-92. Harper ready again. Dips, flips, missed, rebound, grabbed by Ewing. Ewing to Jackson. Up to the timeline and into the forecourt. Jackson on the left wing against Harper. Jackson dribbles, he gives to Green. Green on the three-point arc. Green to the circle. Green fights his way down the lane. Put up a shot, blocked by Nance. Grabbed by Doherty. Back to Nance. Driving is Doherty. Missed the shot. Rebound Jackson. Jackson to the other end. Pulls up. Wanted to do a three. Couldn't do it. Wilkins left side. Comes into the lane. Up with the right hand. Blocked by Nance. That's 10 blocks. Ball down the floor to Harper. And then Harper brings it back outside. 3:18 to play. 10 block shots for Larry Nance, and that is a team record. Cavs record, 10 in a game. Harper drives inside, finger rolls it up and in. Harper with 29 and the Cavaliers are up 192. Into the forecourt, Jackson against D'Lo, right sideline to Wilkins. Gerald Wilkins on the right wing against Sanders. Wilkins turns, gives to Green, hands it back to Gerald Wilkins. Wilkins on the right sideline. Wilkins against Sanders, and we've got Ewing and Doherty in a struggle, and Brad Doherty tagged with a foul. That's 3 on Brad, and on the Cav, 3 as a team. Sidney Green goes out. Charles Oakley comes back in with 12 points and 2 fouls. Johnny Newman is in the ball game, and Gerald Wilkins sits down. Left wing, Jackson. Jackson holding the ball, looking for Ewing, gets it to him. Ewing backing in on Doherty, back out to Jackson. Jackson drives into the middle, puts up a shot. Blocked by Nance, that's 11. Sanders in the backcourt to Elo. 192. Into the forecourt, Harper on the left side. Harper works it down, covered by Ewing, outside to Doherty. Back to Harper, sets for the 3, then drives to the lane, up with a 12-footer off the glass. Ball slapped up in the air, grabbed by Nance. Nance dribbles back out with the ball, gives to Elo. 2:13 to play, and the Cavs lead by 8. Crowd standing up again. Right side, Harper. Pass inside for Doherty, knocked away, picked up by Jackson. Jackson for the Knicks, drives down against Sanders, put up his shot. Blocked by Harper! Grabbed by Nance. Nance hangs on in a loose ball foul on the Knicks. Foul is on Oakley. That's Oakley's 3rd foul. And they'll go down to the Cleveland line to shoot 2. 1:57 to play in the ball game. Cavaliers leading 192. Nance will be shooting the free throws. Mark Jackson taken out of the New York lineup. Tucker, Wilkins, Newman, Oakley. I don't want to tell you this, but the Knicks have got 6 men on the floor. The Knicks have got 6 guys on the floor, and now they get Tucker off the floor. Nance hitting the first free throw. Second toss, good. Larry Nance with both free throws. The Cavaliers lead 102-92. That's 24 for Nance. On the right side, Wilkins. Wilkins, finger roll pass inside Ewing, muscles it up and missed it. Rebound Doherty. Out to Harper. Harper in the backcourt. Harper taking the dribble to the timeline. Harper into the forecourt with 1:37 to go. Give to Nance. The crowd is standing up. To Sanders out front. Sanders on the wing into Doherty. Ewing knocks it away to Newman. Newman down the floor to Strickland. Strickland heads for the middle. Puts it up with a pass to Oakley, whose shot didn't go, but he was fouled. Nance with 11 block shots ties the NBA seasonal total for, what is that? I can't read your writing. Cavaliers 102-92. Wilkins sits down. The foul was on Nance. The free throw for Oakley is good. Oakley with his 13th point of the ball game. That is an individual season high for Larry Nance. Second toss on the rim and in. 14 for Oakley. 102-94 Cavs. Sanders lobs the ball into Nance. Nance triple team back to Sanders. They got Harper all alone at the other end. Didn't see him. Now a long lob to Harper on the right wing. Harper against Strickland. Harper with 1:11 to go, and the Cavs lead by 8. Harper on the dribble, double team. Harper with all kinds of pressure, fires it down in the corner. Doherty saves it, lobs it cross court to Elo. Elo on the left side, drives inside, reverse layup, no good. Rebound knocked out of bounds. Cavs ball. 102-94. On the baseline, Sanders. Knicks have been playing the last 9 minutes without a timeout. Harper just hanging on to the ball, gives to Doherty, and he is grabbed by Newman. Oh, Johnny Newman picks up his 3rd foul. That'll put Doherty on the free throw line. Brad with 11 points in the ball game. He has hit 3 out of 7 at the free throw line today. 102-94 Cavs with less than a minute to play. Things are looking good at the Coliseum, but of course, the question mark is Mark Price. Price has been taken into the Cavalier locker room. Doherty bangs the free throw off the back of the rim, no good. Trent Tucker comes in with 17 points. Strickland sits down. On the free throw line, Doherty again. That one is good. So Brad with a dozen, and the Cavaliers are up 103-94. 48 seconds to go. Into the forecourt, Jackson. Jackson over on the left wing to Newman. Newman down the left side, lost the ball, and goes out of bounds. Cavs get it back. Sanders into Harper. Harper coming up in the backcourt against Tucker to the timeline to the forecourt, drives to the free throw line, bounced off the ball that goes out of bounds. There's some pretty good hockey body checks out there in this game today. Ball lobbed in from Oakley to Jackson. Left wing Newman fakes the three. Sanders won't let him do it into Ewing. Ewing goes into the lane, but a whistle and a pushing foul on Brad Doherty. Well, Doherty with his fourth foul. That's 4 as a team, but it puts the Cavaliers over the limit. They're second of the final 2 minutes. Patrick Ewing on the free throw line has 19 points. His first is good. That's 20 for Ewing. Now Strickland returns to the lineup with 8 points. We'll try to get some kind of a report on Mark Price before we're off the air today. Ewing at the line to the right, 103-95. Second toss goes up and in. That's 21 for Ewing. 103-96, the pressure into Nance. Nance in the backcourt, back to Sanders. Sanders fires it down the floor to Harper. Harper brings it back outside. 19 seconds to play. Harper on the dribble, and this time Oakley jumps into him for the foul. That's Oakley's fourth foul. It puts Harper on the free throw line. Ron with 29 points in the ball game. He has popped in 7 out of 8 free throws. His best of the year, 32. Harper measures the first toss off the front of the rim, no good. Here comes Gerald Wilkins back into the ball game, and Strickland sits down. 16 seconds left in the game, and the Cavs lead 103-96. Now Newman returns, and Oakley sits down as Rick Pitino gets the long-distance firepower into the game. Darnell Valentine will come in for the with 30, and the Cavaliers 104-96. Out of the backcourt, Ewing. Ewing runs right over Harper. That's got to be a charge, and it is. Ewing just put his shoulder down and ran right over Harper. It's Ewing's third foul. And the Cavs with the ball. Elo into Sanders, 10 seconds to go. The Cavs have got this one in the bag. Over to Harper. Listen to this crowd. Harper in the backcourt, dribbling down the clock, turns around, lobs it down the floor. The game is over, and the Cavaliers have won it 104-96. We'll be back to wrap it up after this final timeout on the Cleveland Cavaliers Radio Basketball Network.